At the beginning of the story, the protagonist tries to convey how his life has been transformed through repeated cycles of death and rebirth. He recounted his vast journey through rebirths, living countless lives. In this initial scene, he discusses his earliest life. He had ventured into the martial world armed with only rudimentary martial arts and swordsmanship skills. With boldness and fearlessness, he entered this domain of warriors, yet his journey was abruptly ended by bandits who struck him down before his sword could be drawn. The bandits looked down upon him and derived great pleasure from his demise. He suffered a brutal beating at the hands of these bandits. They ended his life before he could grasp the situation. Despite his death, he returned to life in a new body. Each time he came back, his life was short-lived, invariably meeting his end at the hands of another. Each new existence brought with it vivid memories from his past lives. As he inhabited new bodies and pursued his mission, the wisdom from his past lives guided him through each reincarnation. Now, all seemed bleak. He had faced defeat so frequently that the sensation of loss had become all too familiar. However, a pivotal moment finally arrived, marking a departure from his endless cycle of rebirths. This time, he was born with blessings that deterred others from seeking his end as fervently as before. He saw this as his chance to live his life with purpose, and his mission was to conquer any obstacle that lay in his path. He devoted every moment to mastering martial arts, training tirelessly to the point of feeling invincible. He sought instruction from numerous esteemed martial arts masters, sacrificing his youth to become the strongest. At this juncture, he found himself at a stage in life reached only by those who have traversed each phase of existence and approached the final threshold. Yes, he was reflecting on old age. Now, standing on a mountain and gazing at the sky, he contemplated the extensive efforts of his life. Suddenly, a butterfly alighting on his finger made him feel as if he was rejuvenated with every flutter of its wings. Overwhelmed by exhaustion from his endeavors, he realized he had achieved much in this world. Eventually, he felt a detachment from worldly concerns, sensing it was time to bid farewell, to rest as if for a lifetime. As the day closed, he succumbed to the embrace of death due to age, which seemed like his final life, though fate had other plans. Afterward, he caught sight of a hand and found himself pondering, what is this again? The very outcome he wished to avoid had transpired once more. He had been reborn into another person's body. At this moment, his frustration with himself was palpable, for he had been reborn despite having fulfilled everything he sought in his previous life. He continually questioned why he had been given another life. He declared he was content. He expressed no desire for further existence, realizing after many years there was nothing left for him to achieve, hence his lack of desire to continue living. He felt exhausted. Just then, as he voiced his thoughts, a woman abruptly entered his room and took hold of his hand, inquiring, "Young master, why do you speak in such a manner?" The woman also questioned why he incessantly spoke of dying. As he was about to respond, a flood of flashback memories assaulted him. As he grappled with the pain, old memories resurfaced. These memories etched onto him like drawings, reviving all the previous anguish. With these newly emerged memories, he deduced that the woman must be the nanny of the boy whose body he now occupied, someone he cherished as if she were his own mother. He also came to understand that this boy had attempted suicide, the very boy whose existence he had now assumed. Observing a boy weeping behind the nanny, he surmised that this child must regard him with the affection one would have for an elder brother. Then, catching his reflection in the mirror, he began to question why such a young individual would resort to suicide. Sometime later, he recalled the nanny's earlier words questioning his talk of dying. To alleviate the nanny's concerns, he reassured her that nothing was amiss. He had merely experienced a nightmare, which led to his disturbed utterances. In response to the protagonist's declaration of having had a nightmare, the nanny suggested, "Oh well, if it was a nightmare, then I believe you haven't been eating well these past few days, which might be why your body is reacting this way. We should call the doctor first to address your illness." However, countering the nanny's suggestion, he insisted he was fine, attributing his condition to a lack of proper sleep the previous night and suggested that a bit of rest would rectify everything. The nanny proposed that if he was adamant about not seeing a doctor, he should at least eat something. To this, he replied that he wasn't hungry at the moment and desired some time alone to contemplate his future actions. Upon hearing him mention the need to think, the nanny immediately questioned, "What are you planning to do this time? young master. Dodging the conversation, he assured her there was a misunderstanding on her part. He reasoned that any rash action on his part might lead to others deeming him insane, questioning whether she perceived him as capable of behaving irrationally. After a pause, the nanny observed, "To me, you seem a bit out of sorts, and your way of speaking has notably changed, young master." He sighed upon hearing the nanny's concern over his talk of dying, noting the growing anxiety it caused. Reluctantly, he agreed. "Okay, I will eat later. I promise no more troubling talk from now on. There won't be any issues." This appeared to reassure the nanny, who decided to leave to prepare some of his favorite dishes without further discussion. Before leaving, the nanny looked back, ensuring he would remain calm. He reassured her, "Hey, don't worry about me. You can go now." Left alone, he lay in bed, pondering whether his cycle of reincarnation was still ongoing, frustratedly asking, why did it start again? Days later, delving into his host body's memories, he discovered that the current identity was that of Suk Jinho, the illegitimate offspring of the Suk family, a household among the nation's wealthiest. Despite the family's affluence, Suk Jinho's circumstances were less fortunate, owing to his status as an illegitimate child. No matter his upbringing, respect eluded him within his family circle. Everyone treated him poorly. Over time, Suk Jinho came to understand that his status as an illegitimate child was looked down upon by his family and those around him, leading to a profound sense of despair regarding his existence. This despair drove him to neglect nourishment and to isolate himself within his home, as though awaiting death's embrace. In this state of self-neglect, Suk Jinho ultimately succumbed, marking the moment the protagonist entered his body. As had become customary, he found himself living through another's existence. This experience underscored the diverse nature of life, how one might be driven to end their own life at a young age, while he, desiring death, remained unable to achieve it. Currently, only 2 individuals showed him affection, one of whom regarded Suk Jinho as a brother. Upon venturing outside, this boy inquired, "Young master, why are you scantily clad in such cold weather?" To which Suk Jinho responded, "Hey, I'm sufficiently dressed." Despite his protestations, the boy ushered him back inside. Upon re-entering the room, he was greeted by his nanny, who expressed concern, "Young master, why venture outside in the cold? Come quickly, your meal is prepared." Then, much like caretakers with a child, they guided him to the table. Observing their attentiveness, he questioned, "Why are you treating me like a child?" The nanny responded, "Address your health first, then we can consider your grievances." Witnessing the affection they harbored for Suk Jinho, whom they held in high regard, filled him with warmth. Following his resurrection as Suk Jinho, he plunged into contemplation once more. He harbored the belief that this could be his final resurrection. Perhaps, the love of certain individuals was the reason for his return, suggesting there might be nothing more to seek in life. Having lived through numerous lifetimes, the desire to return to this world had vanished. Yet, now he found himself reflecting on the unresolved aspects of existence, the kindness of others that he hadn't fully appreciated. It appeared he had stumbled upon his purpose. Thus, he resolved to achieve Suk Jinho's unrealized dreams. Despite the limitations of his physical form, he could not dismiss the aspirations he now carried, Suk Jinho's ambition to earn recognition from his family. Having once made a mark in the martial world, he now prepared to battle on Suk Jinho's behalf. He committed to fulfilling this lingering wish as a solemn vow. After contemplating throughout the night and upon awakening in the morning, he came to the realization that Suk Jinho had been ostracized his entire life for being the illegitimate child of the Jinho family, leading to his deep-seated depression. This, in turn, had hindered Suk Jinho from proving himself to others. Understanding that assisting Suk Jinho in achieving his ultimate goal necessitated prioritizing physical training, he recognized the critical role of martial arts. Mastery over one's physical capabilities was identified as the initial step in supporting Suk Jinho's ambition. He considered the significance of martial arts in practical scenarios. For instance, he believed that for a merchant dealing with substantial sums of money daily and residing in a city brimming with skilled thieves targeting their wealth, the presence of a masterful martial artist was imperative. At present, with limited financial resources at his disposal, he concluded that his immediate focus should be on martial arts for self-protection. Therefore, he decided that the Taiji heaven-flipping technique would be the foundational martial art to master. Given Suk Jinho's frail physique, he chose to begin with this flipping technique as a means to fortify his body, a strategic approach towards establishing a new physical form. Without delay, he commenced his martial arts training. His movements were fluid and synchronized, resembling a slow dance. Each motion was executed with grace and coordination, complemented by deep breathing and intense concentration. The aim was to achieve harmony between hand and foot movements while maintaining a state of calm and focus, akin to meditative movement. Through this technique, he contemplated how mastering the foundational elements of martial arts would equip him with the necessary skills and insights to explore the advanced techniques he had developed over countless lifetimes. However, his current physical condition was not ideally suited for the basic method of this martial art, making the process exceedingly difficult. He was aware that enduring significant pain was a necessary part of the initial training phase. Without undergoing this rigorous process, achieving proficiency in martial arts would remain elusive. As he persisted with the training, the pain radiated from his shoulders down to his legs, yet he remained unwavering in his commitment. With every surge of discomfort, he reminded himself to be patient. The intensity of the training resulted in his body being drenched in sweat. Nevertheless, he continued his practice relentlessly, gradually observing the fruits of his labor as he began mastering the technique, engaging every fiber of his body. He devoted his efforts to concentrating the power of movement into a singular focus. Even if it was just for a fleeting moment, a slight smile graced his face as he attained proficiency in the martial arts moves. After pausing for a brief moment to catch his breath, he acknowledged the success of the technique for the time being. Though the energy within his body remained low, the power he had managed to amass was significant for him at this stage. As he prepared to resume his training, the nanny entered and, observing his exhausted state, exclaimed in concern, questioning the cause of his excessive perspiration in the cold winter. Knowing her habitual worry, she preemptively inquired whether he was injured or faced any issues, urging him to speak up if so. To the nanny's inquiry, he responded with a smile, asking if he appeared to be in pain. The nanny, taken aback by his smiling demeanor, reassured herself that he must not be in any distress. Upon realizing his activities were exercise-related, she cautioned him against overexerting himself suddenly, highlighting the potential risks. With a chuckle, he clarified that his actions were not merely routine exercise, but part of his martial arts training. Surprised by the mention of martial arts, the nanny listened as he affirmed his dedication to mastering them. Then he expressed his determination to become strong enough to protect her. In response, the nanny, slightly anxious, insisted she did not require protection and could manage on her own, emphasizing the importance of him prioritizing his health. He addressed the nanny, asserting that his current health was not a concern, for he bore the responsibility of safeguarding someone. This duty compelled him to protect all those dear to him. The nanny, puzzled, questioned whom he referred to when speaking of this responsibility. She mentioned knowing only herself and Yoon, the boy who had wept upon seeing him. Witnessing the nanny's concern, Suk Jinho requested that should she encounter Yoon, to inform him that Suk Jinho wished to meet. He had knowledge to impart to Yoon, something valuable he could teach him. The nanny, though initially anxious, agreed with a nod, indicating her acceptance. Her worry was evident, likely due to her familiarity with Suk Jinho's past struggles. It was natural for her concerns to resurface. However, she soon reconsidered, realizing that it was time to place trust in him rather than doubt. For the first time, the young master exuded confidence. Convinced by his newfound assurance, she decided to support his decisions henceforth. Expressing her support with a smile, she left. Meanwhile, outside the residence, Yoon was deeply engrossed in his martial arts practice. His affection for Suk Jinho mirrored that of a brother's. Engaged in vigorous training, Yoon's swift punches to the air caused him to sweat profusely. Suk Jinho observed Yoon's practice, admiring the strength of his punches and recognizing the potential within Yoon for martial arts training. He was delighted to see Yoon's dedication and noted the robustness of Yoon's physique, suggesting a natural aptitude for the high-level lethal iron defense technique. Approaching Yoon, Suk Jinho signaled him to halt his training, applauding his effort. Yoon, eager for feedback, inquired whether Suk Jinho found his practice satisfactory and if it indicated his potential for strength. Suk Jinho, placing a hand on Yoon's shoulder, tempered Yoon's expectations by stating that while his current state might not yet be ideal for the ultimate goal, his rapid progress was indeed remarkable. He encouraged Yoon, emphasizing that with continuous daily practice, success was undoubtedly within reach. Encouraged by Suk Jinho's assurance that with dedication, mastering any divine martial art technique was within reach, Yoon was moved. He couldn't believe Suk Jinho cared so deeply for someone like him. Yoon vowed to intensify his efforts, aspiring to always be by Suk Jinho's side. Suk Jinho responded, urging Yoon never to feel insignificant and to always remain confident, highlighting their brotherly bond. Overwhelmed with emotion, Yoon embraced him, tears mingling with the sweat that coated his body from the intense training. At that moment, the nanny arrived, offering them refreshing water, which they gratefully accepted. However, their moment of tranquility was soon interrupted by a distant voice demanding haste in preparations, indicating the arrival of guests the following day. Curious about the commotion, Suk Jinho inquired with the nanny, who then remembered she had failed to inform him of the Supreme Elder's 70th birthday celebration set for the day after tomorrow. After learning about this birthday, Suk Jinho reacted like genuinely he forgot Supreme Elder's birthday. The nanny, concerned, questioned whether Suk Jinho would be all right, especially given the inevitability of facing his elder brothers at the celebration, who bore him no goodwill. Unperturbed, Suk Jinho expressed a newfound resilience, implying that any discomfort should be the concern of his elder brothers, not his. The nanny, marveling at the young master's transformation and his infectious energy, reassured him that the preparations for the gift were already in her care, urging him to attend without worry. The mention of gifts led to a discussion about their limited finances, to which the nanny cleverly pointed out that gifts need not be bought with money. She reminded him of the clothes he wore, crafted by her hands, symbolizing that love and care are invaluable gifts. Acknowledging the unwavering support from those closest to him, Suk Jinho felt assured of his safety and success, crediting the reliability and dedication of the nanny and Yoon. Their unwavering support and trust in him fortified his resolve to face any challenge that lay ahead. The nanny shared with Suk Jinho that the 70th birthday celebration of the Supreme Elder would be attended by prominent figures from the 9 major groups. She suggested that impressing them could offer an opportunity to become their student. However, Suk Jinho harbored a dismissive attitude towards the significance of the 9 big groups, convinced that the day's events would conclude unremarkably. Yet, with the celebration day upon them, Suk Jinho was determined to make a memorable impact, ensuring that no one would forget his presence at the event. As the day progressed, Nanny assisted in dressing him in new attire, an act that highlighted the collective anticipation and support for him. Upon noticing the nanny's evident excitement, Suk Jinho inquired about her feelings, to which she responded with enthusiasm, emphasizing the day's importance as an opportunity for Suk Jinho to astonish everyone. Suk Jinho expressed his contentment, valuing the support of his close ones on such a pivotal day. Yoon observed the transformation in Suk Jinho, noting the increased sharpness in his gaze, improved physique, and heightened confidence. Suk Jinho acknowledged the necessity of his evolution, driven by the faith others placed in him. He anticipated further changes, viewing this day as merely the initial step in a journey filled with unknowns, including potential adversaries and unforeseen challenges. Yet, he expressed a hope for the unwavering support of the nanny and Yoon, regardless of what the future held. Without any doubt, Yoon and nanny assured Suk Jinho of their perpetual support, pledging to follow him wherever his journey led. After that, Suk Jinho and Yoon started the journey to attend the ceremony. Upon their arrival at the palace for the Supreme Elder's 70th birthday celebration, Yoon and Suk Jinho were met with curious and speculative whispers from the surrounding crowd. Observers recognized Suk Jinho, referring to him as the fourth young master, and wondered aloud about his unexpected presence. They remarked on the apparent changes in his personality, expressing disbelief at the rapid transformation from a recluse to someone standing among them. The rumors swirling around him were a source of annoyance for Suk Jinho, who pointed out that he could overhear their whispered judgments. Yoon, concerned for Suk Jinho, inquired if he was coping well with the derogatory comments, questioning his resilience against the hurtful words. Suk Jinho, however, assured Yoon not to worry, confessing his past struggles with depression but affirming his current state of improvement. The conversation took a turn when Suk Manho, Suk Jinho's younger brother, confronted them, taunting Suk Jinho for emerging from his isolation. He insinuated that the occasion of their Supreme Elder's birthday was the only reason for Suk Jinho's appearance, suggesting that the rumors of change were perhaps not unfounded. Suk Jinho retorted, criticizing Suk Manho's lack of respect towards his elders, highlighting the importance of hierarchical respect within their family. Suk Manho dismissed Suk Jinho's comments with indifference, emphasizing that despite their 1-month age difference, respect within their family was earned through martial prowess rather than age or status. This exchange revealed the competitive dynamics and the value placed on martial arts skill within their family, setting the stage for further interactions among the members. Upon hearing Suk Manho's remarks, Suk Jinho responded with a slight smile, subtly critiquing the arrogance that came with being a second-class warrior. Suk Manho, maintaining his juvenile demeanor, boasted about the significance of achieving such a rank at a young age and claimed superiority over Suk Jinho, who he accused of doing nothing but sleeping all day. This exchange highlighted the disdain directed towards Suk Jinho. Yet, Suk Jinho was quick to counter, suggesting that Suk Manho excelled in flattering those in power. This retort provoked Suk Manho, who, fueled by anger, attempted to escalate the confrontation physically. Suk Jinho, with a laugh, questioned the wisdom of fighting on such a significant day, drawing attention to their audience. He proposed postponing their fight to the following day, prompting Suk Manho to accept the challenge, warning Suk Jinho not to flee in fear. Alone with his thoughts, Suk Jinho contemplated the necessity of a practice match before their fight, considering Suk Manho as an opportune choice despite his average fighting skills. He acknowledged the respect Suk Manho held within the Suk family. Recalling the unfair defeats he had suffered at Suk Manho's hands without justification, Suk Jinho saw the impending duel as an opportunity for retribution, marking a pivotal moment for settling their long-standing grievances. During the grand celebration of the Supreme Elder's birthday, Yoon marveled at the scale of the event, noting it surpassed the previous year's festivities. Suk Jinho, acknowledging Yoon's observation, pointed out the presence of notable figures from the martial arts community, including the esteemed Five Flower and top escort agencies from the Central Plains, as well as distinguished guests from Manhwa and Jongnan. Upon observing the guests, Suk Jinho speculated that they were members of the royal family, a suggestion that excited Yoon, who reasoned that the Supreme Elder's widespread popularity attracted visitors from afar. However, faced with the overwhelming crowd, Suk Jinho expressed a desire to wait outside, overwhelmed by the thought of engaging with the royal attendees, whom he found to be unduly arrogant. Suk Jinho's disinterest in mingling with the royal family members led Yoon to mistakenly assume that Suk Jinho felt upset about not being a royal himself. Despite Yoon's attempt to offer consolation, Suk Jinho remained indifferent, instead focusing on the irony of Suk Manho, who had previously looked down on him, now being humbled by their other brothers. Amid these reflections, Suk Jinho was taken aback by two martial artists from Manhwa and Jongnan who approached him unexpectedly, commending his distinct appearance from the rest. After apologizing for startling him, they inquired about his affiliation with the Suk family and his name, praising his strong physique and the solid foundation of his martial arts training, recognizing his prowess despite Suk Jinho's outwardly unassuming demeanor. Suk Jinho introduced himself as the fourth young master of the Suk family but declined to engage further with the inquisitive martial artists from Manhwa and Zhongnan, despite recognizing them. His indifference, even upon recognizing their stature, took them by surprise. Suggesting they were misplaced, he offered to summon someone to guide them, an action that sparked murmurs among the onlookers about the esteemed lineage of the two men. Before Suk Jinho could depart, the elders from Manhwa and Zhongnan extended invitations to their respective schools, each promising unparalleled mastery in martial arts and swordsmanship. Suk Jinho courteously declined, expressing his commitment to his current martial path and his preference for self-reliance over formal allegiance to any school. The elders warned against the limitations of solitary training, emphasizing the necessity of a superior technique for achieving greatness. However, Suk Jinho remained undeterred, indicating his intent to leave for an engagement with the Supreme Elder, dismissing further conversation. As Suk Jinho walked away, the elder from Manhwa reflected on his dismissal, pondering over their potential misjudgment of Suk Jinho's resolve. Despite their doubts, they speculated on his future, acknowledging his potential to become a formidable martial artist independently. This acknowledgement hinted at an underlying recognition of Suk Jinho's unique path and the strength of his conviction in the pursuit of martial excellence. Hearing the elder's speculative remarks about Suk Jinho's potential, he mused on the feasibility of such predictions, acknowledging the rarity of encountering such innate talent. However, he reserved final judgment until discussing Suk Jinho with the Supreme Elder. Suk Jinho, sharing his recent encounter with Yoon, expressed frustration over the time spent conversing with the two elders, feeling it an exercise in futility. Yoon, concerned for Suk Jinho's well-being, inquired after his state, noting the elder's significance and suggesting that Suk Jinho's attitude might reflect a lack of respect. Suk Jinho reassured Yoon, emphasizing the lack of any direct connection or obligation to the elders that would necessitate a more deferential approach. He was confident that his responses had not caused any offense. Their conversation was interrupted when an uncle called out to Suk Jinho, questioning his presence in the guest line. Upon recognition, Suk Jinho respectfully addressed him as uncle and explained his intention to meet the Supreme Elder. The uncle, finding it odd for a family member to wait among guests, assured Suk Jinho of immediate access to the Supreme Elder, highlighting his own ability to meet the elder despite not being of royal blood, thereby asserting Suk Jinho's more rightful place. Gratefully acknowledging his uncle's intervention, Suk Jinho reflected on the change in treatment from his uncle, attributing it to the attention he had recently attracted. As they made their way to meet the Supreme Elder, Suk Jinho mused privately about his uncle's newfound willingness to engage with him, a shift he attributed to the unavoidable recognition of his growing prominence. Upon arriving at the palace, the atmosphere shifted as individuals greeted the Supreme Elder, whose annoyance with the proceedings was palpable. His irritation stemmed from the evident fear displayed by even the wealthiest and most influential attendees, a reaction he found displeasing. The mood changed slightly when a servant announced the arrival of Suk Jinho and his uncle, to which the Supreme Elder permitted their entrance. Suk Jinho, alongside his uncle, approached the Supreme Elder with reverence. His uncle introduced Suk Jinho, who was there to extend his birthday wishes. Suk Jinho began by wishing the Supreme Elder a happy birthday and explained that his nanny had assisted him in preparing his gift, an admission that piqued the Supreme Elder's interest amidst the common claims of personal effort in gift preparation. The Supreme Elder, upon receiving and opening the gift, expressed that the value of a gift lay not in its material worth, but in the sincerity of its giving. He complimented the uniqueness and beauty of Suk Jinho's gift, declaring it unlike any he had received before. The Supreme Elder then directly addressed Suk Jinho, having heard of the interest from two prestigious families in him. Acknowledging this, the Supreme Elder inquired which of the families from Manhwa and Zhongnan Suk Jinho would choose for his martial arts training. This question highlighted the Supreme Elder's interest in Suk Jinho's future and the recognition of his potential within the martial arts community. Suk Jinho, standing before the Supreme Elder, stated his preference for solitary training over affiliating with any martial arts family. He explained his decision to forego formal instruction for a period, choosing instead to explore martial arts in his own way. This declaration amused the Supreme Elder, who laughed at Suk Jinho's unconventional choice to learn martial arts independently rather than from established masters. Despite the Supreme Elder's laughter, Suk Jinho remained unshaken, confidently affirming his intention to pursue martial arts according to his personal vision. He acknowledged the uncertainty of the path ahead, but emphasized the importance of having a life plan. The Supreme Elder, taken aback by Suk Jinho's resolve and the unexpected nature of his ambition, offered his assistance should Suk Jinho require it. However, Suk Jinho politely declined any help for the time being. The Supreme Elder, respecting Suk Jinho's wishes, dismissed him, promising to discuss the matter further at a later time. As Suk Jinho left, he once again wished the Supreme Elder well, leaving a lasting impression. Reflecting on the encounter, the Supreme Elder marveled at Suk Jinho's transformation and his unyielding demeanor in the face of authority. Recognizing Suk Jinho's potential to withstand his imposing presence, the Supreme Elder saw in him a candidate capable of leading the Suk family. Intrigued and wanting to observe Suk Jinho's progress closely, he instructed his assistant, known as the Sword Emperor, to monitor Suk Jinho. The Supreme Elder was keen to ascertain whether Suk Jinho truly possessed the strength and leadership qualities to steer the Suk family's future. Leaving the palace, Suk Jinho exhaled deeply, expressing his relief and remarked on the peace he felt now that he had finally finished with the foul ceremonies. Yoon, upon hearing such disrespectful words from his young master, cautioned him to speak softly, or else if someone overhears him. Seeing Yoon scared like this, Suk Jinho replied, saying, "Hey, what's the point of being so scared about a small thing? Besides, who will listen to us here now?" In the midst of their conversation, an interruption came from an unrecognized man, which annoyed Jinho. He inquired, "What now?" The man perceived this as disrespectful and responded angrily. Sensing the man's true intentions, Jinho then asked why he was blocking his path instead of stepping aside. The man arrogantly replied that he thought they could have a pleasant conversation. Jinho responded, "Far from talking peacefully, you seem like you came here to pick a fight with me." The bystanders recognized the interrupter as Yi Jonggak from the Yi family of Hebei province, questioning his unusual behavior and the odd tension between them. Yoon, concerned, asked his young master if he should summon the warriors. Suk Jinho instructed him to remain still, perceiving that Yi Jonggak had a personal issue with him. He provocatively suggested that Yi Jonggak was jealous of the attention Jinho had received from Manhwa and Zhongnan. This accusation enraged Yi Jonggak further, and with a breaking voice, he ordered Jinho not to spout nonsense. However, Jinho continued his provocation, questioning if jealousy was not the reason for Yi Jonggak's sudden aggression. This seemed to reveal Yi Jonggak's true intentions, and losing his patience, he clenched his fists and charged at Jinho. Suk Jinho defended himself effortlessly, deflecting Yi Jonggak's punch with one hand, and thought to himself about the immaturity of falling for such shallow provocations. Yi Jonggak's punch missed, tumbling him to the ground with a twinge of pain, bewildered by how effortlessly Suk Jinho had dodged. Suk Jinho commented, "You must be very surprised to see how easily I dodged this punch, right?" He speculated that Yi Jonggak might be wondering, "How can I, who have just started training in martial arts, return your punches so easily?" Suk Jinho, appearing to relish the fight, responded to Yi Jonggak's punch by saying, since he is in another place and dares to fight him, he must be prepared. Yi Jonggak, further enraged, retorted, "He has so much courage to stand in front of him and mock him." He continued, "He got a lot of pride just because he dodged one of his punches." Then, Yi Jonggak charged at Jinho again, this time with a sword in his hand. Suk Jinho quickly approached him, declaring that this fight was in self-defense, and warned, "So, don't cry like a baby when his hand punches him." Suk Jinho's reaction was swift, landing a hard punch on Yi Jonggak's cheek. followed by another to his stomach before he could react. However, Yi Jonggak attempted another punch to take down Suk Jinho, but Suk Jinho dodged again, observing Yi Jonggak's assumption that he wouldn't get hit so easily. However, Yi Jonggak continued to punch in anger, each move trivial, crude, ignorant, and predictable, allowing Suk Jinho to easily dodge all the punches. After failing to land any punches, Yi Jonggak asked Suk Jinho how he could return all his punches. To Suk Jinho, it was all quite visible. He further humiliated Yi Jonggak by asking if he couldn't dodge that. Then he was a fool. Unable to bear Suk Jinho's taunts and feeling demeaned from a novice, Yi Jonggak's rage intensified. Seeing no other option, Yi Jonggak drew his sword and declared, "Now, let's see who can save you from me." Immediately, the people around exclaimed that he had now drawn his sword and that they should intervene, calling the warriors to stop them. This time, Suk Jinho appeared more serious than before. Yet, Yi Jonggak was unstoppable and charged forward to strike Suk Jinho with his sword. Suk Jinho, turning around, kicked the sword away before it could reach his body. Witnessing this turn of events, Yi Jonggak's anger vanished, replaced by a look of surprise as he absent-mindedly stared at his disarmed weapon. Suk Jinho then said, "Turn around. Where are you looking?" And just as Yi Jonggak was about to turn, Suk Jinho landed a punch across his face, sending him flying far away and knocking him to the ground. Now, Yi Jonggak's sword was in Suk Jinho's possession, leaving everyone wondering what he would do with it. Observers of the fight were astonished. They knew Yi Jonggak had been training in martial arts for a long time, whereas the fourth young master, Suk Jinho, had only begun his training recently. This led them to believe Suk Jinho could not win. They remarked that only a prodigy could master martial arts in such a short span, now understanding the interest shown by individuals from Manhwa and Zhongnan. When the rest of the warriors arrived, they inquired about Suk Jinho's well-being. Smiling, he assured them he was fine, as they could see. Upon their arrival, the warriors, seeing Yi Jonggak's condition, surrounded him, expressing their anger for the disturbance he caused. They declared that his actions could not be overlooked lightly and that they intended to speak directly with his family regarding his behavior. In a surprising turn, amidst the tension, Suk Jinho approached Yi Jonggak that he would have liked to wrap this up himself. Suk Jinho placed his sword in front of Yi Jonggak's face and cautioned him, reminding that if you had drawn your sword, then you ought to be ready to be chopped down as well. With these words, Suk Jinho's face flushed with anger as he posed a threatening question. Shall he slice him into pieces with this sword? Frightened, Yi Jonggak pleaded for mercy from the young master, promising never to repeat such actions. But Suk Jinho determined to punish him, cut Yi Jonggak Chanmij and throw the sword away. By this Yi Jonggak got fainted away. Then Suk Jinho requested the warriors to clean it up. They assured him that he shouldn't need to not to worry. The warriors admired the young master's charismatic handling of the situation. After Suk Jinho's departure, they commended how he resolved the matter effortlessly, noting his transformation and its positive impact on others. Meanwhile, a girl from above, distinguished by her royal attire, observed the entire scene. Her conversation with her servant revealed her strategic thinking towards Suk Jinho. Despite her servant caution to withhold judgment, the girl, with a mysterious smile, emphasized the importance of aligning Suk Jinho with their side amidst the increasing interest from someone else. The girl, identified as Suk Miroing from the Suk family, tasked his servant for gathering comprehensive information on Suk Jinho. Her ambition was clear. She envisioned using Suk Jinho as a pivotal asset in her quest for leadership within the Suk family, seeing him as a crucial element, so that she can become the head of the Suk family. Then the scene shifted to the Suk Jinho residence where a named Zhang Meryung, seems known to Yoon, expressed a desire to learn martial arts from the young master, even offering some gold coins as persuasion. However, Yoon promptly declined the offer, stating that he, too, was a servant and lacked the authority to make such recommendations on Zhang Meryung's behalf. Undeterred, Zhang Meryung persisted, appealing to the close, albeit non-blood, brotherly relationship between Yoon and the young master. He implored Yoon, suggesting that all he needed was to create an opportunity to be recommended once. Further trying to sway Yoon, he mentioned how Yoon had become stronger after learning martial arts from the young master and recounted Yoon's recent act of bravery where he saved a servant from 5 goons. Moved by Jong Maryung's persistence and his own experiences, Yoon acknowledged his own progress and listened as Jong Maryung lamented his years spent learning the 3rd-level sword technique without significant achievement. Jong Maryung pleaded for a chance to learn martial arts properly, hoping for just one meeting with Suk Jinho, acknowledging it could be his last opportunity given his age. Yoon, seeing Jong Maryung's earnest plea, agreed to speak to the young master, though he cautioned that it might not lead to Jong Maryung learning martial arts from Suk Jinho. He also mentioned his uncertainty about the young master's current activities. Jong Maryung thanked Yoon repeatedly for agreeing to talk to Suk Jinho about it. However, their conversation was overheard by Suk Jinho, who emerged from the room, inquiring about the commotion. Upon noticing Jong Maryung beside Yoon, Suk Jinho asked why he was interrupting his martial arts training and demanded that Yoon expel the man immediately, showing impatience towards Jong Maryung's presence and questioning why he was still there after being told to leave. After Suk Jinho's demand for an explanation, Jong Maryung found himself at a loss for words, realizing the intimidating presence of the young master. However, knowing this might be his only chance, he gathered his courage to speak. With considerable effort, he introduced himself as Jong Maryung, a person of no significance, and bowed before Suk Jinho. He explained his close relationship with Yoon, likening himself to an older brother due to their shared upbringing from childhood. Suk Jinho acknowledged the introduction, understanding why Yoon had not expelled him, given their strong relationship. He directly addressed Jong Maryung's intent to learn martial arts from him. Jong Maryung confirmed his desire, prompting Suk Jinho to note his straightforwardness and apparent lack of malice. Jong Maryung pledged to uphold trust, hoping to never betray Suk Jinho's. Suk Jinho, though somewhat irked, questioned why he should teach Jong Maryung martial arts. Jong Maryung expressed his determination, convincing Suk Jinho of his strong will and sincerity, despite doubts about his suitability for martial arts training. Suk Jinho considered the practicality of training Yoon further and acknowledged Jong Maryung's earned trust from Yoon. However, he highlighted a significant obstacle to continuing martial arts training. Finally, Suk Jinho cautioned Jong Maryung to listen carefully, laying out the stark truth without any sugarcoating. Despite Jong Maryung's desire and determination to learn martial arts, he lacked the innate talent for it. After hearing from the young master that he had no talent for martial arts, Jong Maryung accepted without complaint. He also mentioned that his last wish was to learn martial arts at least once in his life. Upon hearing these words, Suk Jinho was a bit surprised and told him that he knew he had no talent for learning martial arts, yet he wanted to learn it just for a wish. In response to the young master's words, he said yes because his only dream since childhood was to grow up to be a martial artist. Suk Jinho then talked about his life's martial arts experiences. He tried to explain to Jong Maryung and said that the reality of being a martial artist can be quite different. It requires immense dedication, discipline, and hard work. And if one thinks they're going to be a hero by helping people by learning martial arts, then they're living in the wrong world. In fact, many people learn martial arts for their self-esteem. There are even many people who do not consider themselves competent after many years of martial arts training. Moreover, it may happen that even if one learns martial arts, they will not be able to protect themselves from bad people. Suk Jinho also said that learning these martial arts can make one the envy of many people because everyone will wonder how a servant can honor his master if he learns martial arts. For this reason, one could lose their life at any time. After hearing so much, Jong Maryung told the young master that he knew everything he said, and he also knew that death could come at any time in any situation. But for this reason, people cannot stop dreaming about their life goals. Hearing Jong Maryung's words, Suk Jinho thought that his words reminded him of his own past life. So he reluctantly agreed to let him learn martial arts for a while, and said to see how far he could go. Listening to this, Jong Maryung said that he was very happy to learn martial arts from the young master. Suk Jinho then said that after a few days of observing him, he would fully decide whether he was worthy of learning martial arts or not. After hearing this, he replied with some fear, "It's fine, no worries. Whatever you say will be carried out." On the other hand, Yoon was saying with a smile that he was finally given a chance. Was he happy now? So Jong Maryung said that he was very happy now, so for this reason, he kept thanking the young master over and over again. After this, Suk Jinho warned him that he could only come from the street in front of this house, but never try to come inside or behind the house. In response to the young master's words, he said don't worry, he would never disobey him. Then Suk Jinho said okay, now do whatever he wanted, listen to one more thing. That he would never tolerate humiliating himself in front of anyone, and he left there. And Jong Maryung bowed his head, stating that from now on, he would do whatever was ordered. After the young master left, he told Yoon that he would be forever grateful to him because he was the reason he was able to meet the young master. Yoon replied that he hadn't done anything here. The young master came out just in time, and for this reason, you got this chance today, he explained. Jong Maryung said that if Yoon had sent him away earlier, he wouldn't have had the opportunity to meet the young master in any position. But in the middle of their talk, a stranger arrived who held a sword in his hand and told them that he was here to meet the young master, asking if he was there. Replying to the man, Yoon said sorry he didn't hear him properly and asked if he could say it again. Listen to Yoon, the man said in an angry tone. I was trying to tell you that young master Suk Jinho is in the room. Yoon began to respond, yes, the young master is in the inner room. But before he could finish, the man interjected, all right, show me where he is in the room. I want to meet him and tell him that his sister, young Miss Suk Miryong, wishes to see him. But Yoon told him that it's fine, but asked why the young miss wanted to meet the young master at this moment. Hearing a question from a servant like Yoon, the man blushed angrily and said, you are a servant, and your duty is to answer questions. Now tell him where the young master is. Seeing the man's anger, Yoon became frightened and quickly apologized, saying, please forgive me. I was simply inquiring. Hearing the conversation outside again, Suk Jinho came out of the room and said, today seems to be an unfortunate day. Someone has come to disturb me again. After listening to this from the side, Yoon said that the young master should speak slowly. He can hear them. Now facing each other, the man said to him, please forgive me for coming to you suddenly without any prior notice. After hearing this, Suk Jinho said, since when did people like him learn to say forgive me? The man then replied, why is there anything wrong with apologizing? Besides, he wasn't here to argue. He was here to inform him that the young miss had sent a summon letter, requesting his presence to see her. But Suk Jinho observed the man and commented, it seems your young miss doesn't know how to discipline her own people. That's why he stands in front of me and barks like a dog without showing any respect. At this moment, Suk Jinho was really enjoying humiliating the man with these words. After feeling deeply insulted, the man got really angry. In a moment of mockery, Suk Jinho suggested that the only way to stop a dog from barking was to hit it with a stick, so it learns not to embarrass its owner again. After being insulted like this, the man replied that it seems Suk Jinho had become arrogant since he started getting a little attention from some famous people. Looking at the condition of the two of them, it seemed that a fight would start at any moment. Without saying a word, the man rushed forward, clenching his fists to fight with Suk Jinho. In his mind, he aimed to teach Suk Jinho a lesson for insulting him. When he rushed in front of him and thought that Suk Jinho couldn't take his punches because he was still a child to him in this world of martial arts. Without saying any word this time, Suk Jinho again deflected his opponent's punch with just one hand, as he did in their last fight. Stopping his punch abruptly, Suk Jinho seized the chance to deliver a powerful blow to his opponent's cheek. While getting beaten up, the man couldn't help but wonder, how is this possible? How did he dodge my punch so effortlessly? In the middle of the fight, Suk Jinho told him that this won't be settled with just one punch. So, It was time to get serious. With that, he grabbed the man and began attacking the weak parts of his entire body so that he could not use his hands for some time. The man then realized that Suk Jinho wanted to weaken him with the pressure point technique. He was also wondering how Suk Jinho could easily hit all his body's weak spots so accurately. After beating the guy for some time, he said that this time completely he had broken his arm for some time. Before the man understood anything, one last punch landed on him, and he fell to the ground. He then said, "Remember the punch therapy I just gave you? It's something you won't forget?" At that moment, the entire atmosphere of the neighborhood became very hot because of this fight. Suk Jinho then laughed and told the man that he was so proud of his words and he hadn't even touched him, and moreover, where did he get so much arrogance? Besides, what could he tell him? Even his family members were no less from this arrogance. From the side, Yoon asked the young master if he would like him to read the summon order for him. Suk Jinho then replied that no, right now, he didn't need to read anymore. He was getting a headache from fighting with him. In response to his words, Yoon said no problem, he could do whatever he wanted. Suk Jinho said that with pleasure, people always regretted their actions when they were defeated in this fighting world. Now, he no longer found enjoyment in winning against weak opponents. Instead, he eagerly awaited a strong challenger who could truly compete with him. After that, the scene of the story shifted and came inside a royal palace where many beautiful flowers were seen, and also Suk Jinho had arrived to visit his sister. Suk Myeong poured tea for Suk Jinho and asked why he had to fight with the man she sent to invite him. In reply, he mentioned that he just taught the man a little lesson, so he knows what to say before speaking to someone in the future. Moreover, from now on, he would not let those who think he is weak come to fight with him so easily. Those who underestimate him will also learn their lesson. After hearing him, Suk Myeong smiled and noted that he had changed a lot, to which he replied that if he had not changed, he would have died long ago. Even if he were to die, many people wouldn't come to his funeral to grieve. After listening to such a deep conversation about life, Suk Myeong told him that their little brother finally started to talk like a wise man. Hearing the term, Jinho, Suk Jinho got a bit angry and asked since when he became so close to her that she calls him so fondly. Then Suk Myeong said, "Hey, what are you talking about? You are my very dear little brother. Besides, I am your elder, so why don't I call you so fondly?" That's why Suk Jinho replied that he was well aware that she definitely didn't bring him here to impart knowledge on her younger brother, so she should just say what she wants without twisting it around. At that moment, Suk Myeong let go of her smile and told him that it's okay. Then she wanted to say straight without twisting and turning. She needed his help so she could be the head of the Suk family. Before he could fully understand his surroundings, Suk Jinho said, "I can't assist you with this matter." Hearing this refusal from him, Suk Myeong immediately got nervous and asked him if he was refusing her because he received an offer from the other brothers, or was he waiting for one? Suk Jinho said he had no desire to work with anyone. Besides, he was not greedy for power like her and was fine as he was. And she could be sure that he never wanted to be the head of the Suk family. Upon hearing his words, Suk Myeong asked him if he was considering joining another family. She spoke without allowing him to say anything and said, "Look, you are a member of the Suk family, and you should never forsake your own family." She also said that he could fulfill his destiny staying in this family, and if she could become the head of the Suk family once, she could help him in any way. Meanwhile, as she strengthened the economic power, he would have all the power in the world of martial arts that he could never have imagined. And this is how they would work together to make their family the strongest in front of everyone. Moreover, if he worked together with her, he would succeed in any goal. After hearing these messages from Suk Myeong, Suk Jinho said that doing all this would only benefit her and the Suk family. In response, Suk Myeong said that if the Suk family succeeds, then he would also succeed because he was also a son in this family. Besides, at this moment, he needed someone who could help him in his time of need, right or not. Without any care, Suk Jinho said no, he didn't need any help. In his mind, he thought, do these people believe they can achieve anything? How does it look now? Suk Miryong was quiet for a while after listening to him, thinking that his arrogance was understandable. He caught the eyes of the elder of the big family as soon as he learned martial arts. Moreover, he surpassed the other youngsters who began their journey much earlier than him. Many had studied martial arts for many years before him and could not defeat him. He learned many famous techniques, like pressure points, which is one of them. Besides, he was already winning people's hearts by showing his talent. Then, if he doesn't have arrogance while speaking, then who will? Then after some time, Suk Jinho said that the young miss could succeed in her mission without him. Hearing young miss, Suk Miryong told him to never call her young miss, just call her older sister like he used to before. But inside, Suk Miryong was very angry at how he turned down her offer. She also said, I have a request. I'd like you to join me for tea sometime. You're aware that I don't have any siblings who are close to me. Suk Jinho replied that as long as she didn't bring along any ill-mannered people, and then he leaves. Suk Miryong remarked, I understand you're not cooperating right now, but there will come a time when you won't be able to defy me anymore. Besides, I don't give up anything so easily. The scene then shifts to the palace of the Supreme Elder, where he's hearing from his assistant how Suk Jinho easily defeated Suk Miryong's bodyguard using the pressure point technique. The Supreme Elder wanted to know if the boy, Suk Jinho, really won over Suk Miryong's bodyguard so easily. His assistant confirmed that the boy easily attacked all the weak points of that bodyguard's body and stopped his hand from fighting for a while. After hearing these words, the Supreme Elder said that if it's Suk Miryong's bodyguard, then he is actually a first-level warrior. He also said that right now, he was very curious whether it was just luck or a skill. Immediately, he began to think that the pressure point technique was never coincidences. So much confusion, maybe he should ask him directly how he applied this technique in his opponent. Hearing the words of the Supreme Elder, his assistant said that sadly, it's hard to meet him right now. After listening to the assistant, he asked why, what happened. Did he get seriously injured in the fight? The assistant replied, not much. He left the manor this morning without informing anyone, and now no one knows his whereabouts. The scene then shifts to the Taysen Forest, where Suk Jinho is. Coming to the forest, he says that these forests are still the same. There has been no change. And here, he can now practice his martial arts in peace with no one coming to disturb him. Suddenly, Suk Jinho heard a sound from the side of the forest and immediately ran towards that place, thinking that it must be the sound of weapons clashing. Suk Jinho goes there and sees a girl standing in front of a monster, and the girl is standing very bravely in front of the monster. Meanwhile, Suk Jinho was thinking that this might liven up his otherwise dull day. Just as the monster is about to attack the girl, Suk Jinho comes between the two of them to save the girl. Seeing a new, powerful opponent, he said that finally, some of the fun in life started to come back. The monster, upon seeing Suk Jinho, expressed his shock and questioned, "Who the hell are you, and what do you want?" To which Suk Jinho responded that knowing his identity would not be of any benefit. However, he clarified, "But you can know that he's the guy who's going to beat you up pretty good today." Furthermore, Suk Jinho pointed out the monster's malicious intent towards a girl alone in the afternoon, labeling the monster as a detestable entity. He really feels compelled to say that you really are a piece of shit. It's not accurate to say you're just a piece of shit. In fact, you're far worse, he declared. The girl, overhearing their conversation, labeled the monster as a two-faced devil and urged Suk Jinho not to engage with him much. It was evident that she was exhausted, describing the monster's power as deadly due to its significant and toxic impact on her, scattering her thoughts and emotions like poisoned arrows. Suk Jinho, witnessing the girl's dire state, acknowledged her misfortune of being in the company of such a wicked person, but took it upon himself to save her. In the midst of this, the girl cautioned Suk Jinho to beware of the devil. As he turned to look at her, seizing the moment, the devil attacked, taunting, "What a fool, getting distracted while I stand right in front of you." Suk Jinho managed to evade the devil's attack just in time, mocking the devil's slow speed and lack of effective fighting technique. Did you really think you could kill me so easily? He questioned, disappointed by the devil's approach. Surprised by Suk Jinho's agility, the devil inquired how he escaped his claws, to which Suk Jinho replied, mocking the devil's slowness and overconfidence. He also advised the devil, if you really want to hurt someone, first try to hit their weak spot, indicating the futility of their current mode of communication. Seizing a stone, Suk Jinho skillfully kicked it towards the devil, striking him hard in the knee and causing him significant pain. The devil, pained yet defiant, accused Suk Jinho of posturing due to the woman's presence. He vowed to showcase his true capabilities and crush Suk Jinho's pride. Gathering all his negative energy, the devil prepared a devastating blow, confidently proclaiming it would be the end for Suk Jinho. The devil, concentrating all his energy into his hands, attacked Suk Jinho, who defended with equal might, countering the devil's force with his own hands. Suk Jinho challenged the devil's bravado, questioning, "How can you speak such big words after just being beaten by my hands?" He added, "Furthermore, now that I've blocked your most powerful attack, what do you have to say?" Utilizing the negative energy from the devil's attack, Suk Jinho launched a counterstrike, seriously injuring the devil and causing him to bleed. He remarked, "I've dealt with plenty of big talkers like you before in my life who can only bark like a dog and never bite." The devil then lay unconscious on the ground as Suk Jinho neutralized the negative energy emanating from him, ensuring he would no longer be a threat. Suk Jinho then addressed the incapacitated devil, highlighting the latter's erroneous assumptions about the fight's motivation and questioning who was now defeated. The girl expressed her gratitude to Suk Jinho for her rescue, to which Suk Jinho modestly responded, reassuring her that no thanks were necessary. At that moment, a man nearby called out to the girl, concerned for her well-being. Recognizing him as uncle, the girl embraced him, seeking comfort. The man apologized for his negligence, which had led to the girl's suffering, while she admitted her fault for impulsively running away from the palace into the forest. Through their conversation, Suk Jinho deduced that the girl, weary of palace life, had sought the freedom and excitement of the forest. The man, concerned for her health, inquired if she had been poisoned, to which she revealed her affliction by negative energy. The man instructed the girl to focus on controlling her breath to facilitate the removal of the poison from her body. He then placed his hand on her back and used his internal energy to neutralize the poison, reassuring her that she no longer needed to worry about it and could stand up. After the poison was neutralized, the girl expressed her gratitude to the man, who modestly replied that her well-being was sufficient thanks for him. The man then turned to Suk Jinho, apologizing for his delayed introduction and expressing gratitude for the girl's rescue. He introduced himself as Beck from the respected Huk Pang family. The girl then introduced herself as Pang Naeon, also from the Huk Pang family, and expressed her pleasure in meeting Suk Jinho. Suk Jinho, however, emphasized that dealing with the devil was their immediate concern, mentioning that he had sealed the devil's body's main pressure points and implying that further action was necessary. As the conversation continued, Naeon mentioned that the devil had called himself a two-faced devil. Beck revealed that this devil was a formidable warrior known for defeating many martial arts masters, suggesting he was not easily defeated. Naeon expressed amazement at Suk Jinho's ability to defeat such a powerful adversary with a single blow. However, Suk Jinho, assessing the prolonged conversation, decided to leave. When Beck attempted to inquire about Suk Jinho's identity, he realized Suk Jinho had already departed swiftly. Beck was taken aback by Suk Jinho's unnoticed departure and his youth, pondering how such a young individual could defeat a dangerous demon. Naeon, feeling sad about Suk Jinho's departure without revealing his identity, lamented their lack of knowledge about him. Beck, observing Naeon's interest, concluded that Suk Jinho must possess significant power to garner such attention from her. Beck, with a smile, assured Pang Naeon that there was no need for concern. He would find the boy for her, noting that recognizing him would make the search easier. Pang Neon's spirits lifted upon hearing this promise, expressing her awe at Suk Jinho's strength, which she believed surpassed even that of the 6 dragons. Beck Sangan then reassured her, emphasizing the Habuk family's principle of never forgetting a favor, and declared their intent to find him without delay. Following this declaration, they both set off on their quest. Meanwhile, the narrative shifts to a forest scene where Suk Jinho is found reminiscing about his old memories associated with the place, commenting on its unchanged nature. He ventured into the forest in search of medicinal plants, recognizing their usefulness from his past experiences. During his search, Suk Jinho encountered a cat and momentarily pondered over its presence, which led to the cat growling louder. Sensing a connection, Suk Jinho wondered if the cat understood him. Utilizing his spiritual power, he discerned that the cat was not ordinary but a spirit beast, albeit one with significantly low energy, possibly due to weakness. Realizing the cat could perceive his energy and noting its hunger, Suk Jinho sought out wild ginseng, a potent medicinal plant, surprised yet pleased to find it unspoiled through the years. Both he and the cat consumed the wild ginseng, which fully restored Suk Jinho's internal energy, marking a moment of unexpected companionship and healing in the wilderness. Suk Jinho was aware that consuming the medicinal plant would restore his body's energy to its normal state. He elaborated on the concept of natural energy within the body, explaining that this innate force, when combined with the energy from the medicinal plant, creates a powerful synergy. This fusion, he noted, transforms the body into a significantly more potent medium. After some time, Suk Jinho felt his strength fully return. He noticed the cat had remained by his side, vigilant during his recovery. Grateful for the companionship and protection, he thanked the cat, promising to repay the kindness in their next encounter and wishing it well. Upon leaving the forest, he saw the cat following him, indicating a desire to stay by his side. Without hesitation, Suk Jinho accepted the cat's silent request for companionship, lifting it onto his shoulder. He decided to name the cat Darky, signifying the beginning of a new bond as they set off together towards home. After returning home with the cat, it joyfully roamed around the house, eventually finding a corner where it seemed content and at ease. Suk Jinho observes this situation and tells the cat, "Then you want to occupy this place in the house." The cat responds with a meow sound. Suk Jinho adds that he is not sure how long he will be in this house, but he can say that he is not leaving this house until the end of this year, so the cat can stay here as long as he is. The rest of the servants are happy to see Suk Jinho return home. Then, Zhang Meryung asks him, why did he go alone on his journey? If he had given him an order, he would have come with him. Just as Suk Jinho goes to answer, the nanny smiles and hugs him, saying she hopes his journey went well. He is also very happy to see the nanny's love for him, so he replies that his journey went well, and he hopes she is fine too. Yoon then asks the young master if he got the thing for which he set out without telling anyone. Suk Jinho replies to Yoon that, of course, he got that thing and he had a great time alone on the journey. In the middle of their conversation, their eyes suddenly go to the cat, and the nanny says that this cat is very beautiful, asking where did he get this cat, young master. Observing the nanny's curiosity, Suk Jinho mentions that he stumbled upon him during his journey, so he decided to bring him along. He adds, from now on, this cat will be a part of our family here. Hopefully, nobody will have any issues. I've also given him a new name, Darky. So, from now on, everyone will call him Darky instead of just Cat. Zhang Meryung then says that it is a pet. How does it become a family member? Responding to his words, Suk Jinho says that from now on he is not just a pet, he is my subordinate. I hope you understand. Hearing this, Suk Jinho said that this little animal is quite dangerous, so be careful. He believes it could even take down the toughest martial artists. Replying to his word, the nanny said, what are you talking about, young master? How can such a beautiful-looking cat be so dangerous? Zhang Meryung's expression became serious when he saw the young master's love for this cat, and he started thinking that this cat has become a member of the family as soon as he was brought from the forest, but he was not allowed to enter the house till now. Seeing his serious expression, Suk Jinho asked him, "Why do you look so worried?" Feeling a bit nervous at the young master's question, he forced a smile and said, "Oh, nothing. I was just thinking that this cat had become so close to you in such a short time, but you still didn't consider me that close to you. Only this thing bothers him a little." After listening to Zhang Meryung's words, Suk Jinho tells him to focus on his martial art training instead of thinking about these silly things, and also asks how his training is going. Responding to his words, Zhang Meryung says, "I've been training hard with Yoon, so don't worry about these things." Suk Jinho says, "Okay, I understand everything, but until I check you myself, I can't say for sure how much attention you have been learning martial arts with Yoon. Besides, I am very tired today. I'll take a break and the rest of you keep going with your tasks." Saying this, he left. Agreeing to his words, Zhang Meryung says, "You don't have to worry. I will take care of everything." The nanny then plays with Darky for a while and asks him if he is hungry, but Darky makes noises indicating that he is not hungry. After playing outside for a long time, Darky became very tired, and that's why he yawned. At the same time, Zhang Meryung was also training in martial arts there, and, seeing Darky yawn, he becomes very angry. He thought the cat was yawning at him, but that wasn't the case. So, he said, "A small animal like you is making fun of my training." When Darky came in front of him, he got angrier and told him, "You tiny creature, you have so much courage to ignore a human like me. I think now is the right time to punish you." But at the same time, Suk Jinho and Yoon both appeared there. Seeing the altercation between Darky and Zhang Meryung, they both burst into laughter. Embarrassed by their laughter, he addressed them, "Young master, this creature is no ordinary animal." Suk Jinho replied, "You guessed right, this is no ordinary cat. So, I want to warn you once again. From now on, don't call the cat an animal. Call it Darky. Referring to it as an animal could anger it. Possibly it might even hit you." Zhang Meryung, feeling a bit confused after hearing the young master's words, starts to say, "No matter what, being disrespected by an animal like a cat." Just as he's about to continue, Darky suddenly appears from behind and delivers a powerful martial arts style kick to his face. Yoon is totally surprised by this scene, and Suk Jinho says that he already warned him and told him that it would get angry if he kept calling it an animal. Zhang Meryung then pondered, "How could a cat land such a powerful blow on me?" Suk Jinho then observes Darky's behavior and realizes that it must be trying to show them something. Then he addresses Zhang Meryung, saying, "I think it's going to show you something special." In the blink of an eye, Darky begins to demonstrate his martial arts skill, showing how to balance his body on one leg and how to use his hands and feet in a fully standing position. Seeing a cat doing all these things, Zhang Meryung gets shocked. So he asks how it is possible that a cat can know such a martial art method. Meanwhile, Suk Jinho is thoroughly enjoying witnessing these events. He explains that Darky is a type of spirit beast, which enables it to perform such extraordinary feats. Despite being a spirit beast, its power is still in its infancy. Yoon is a bit surprised to hear this from the young master, and says that now he understands how Darky can perform martial arts so well. Then Suk Jinho said to him, "I've only shared with you that Darky is a spirit beast, so let's keep it between us." Suddenly, Jinho changed the topic and told Yoon that they had a guest. Hearing that, Yoon seeks pardon because he couldn't understand. Suddenly, the Supreme Elder's bodyguard appeared before them, and he said to Suk Jinho, "It's good to see you in good health, but I have news for you. The Supreme Elder wishes to meet you urgently. So, you should head to the palace immediately." Sometime later, Suk Jinho comes to the palace and approaches the Supreme Elder, asking him how his health is. Hearing this question, the Supreme Elder replied to him, "How could I possibly be well when my grandson left home without uttering a single word?" Jinho asked his grandfather if it was too late to report every single thing. Then, the grandfather asked him if he was teasing with his grandfather again. Now, the Supreme Elder says that after listening to his words, it seems that he is telling the truth. He also says that now leave these things aside. You look like you have changed a lot after going to the forest. It appears your vibe has changed. In response to the Supreme Elder's words, Suk Jinho says that nothing much happened to him in the jungle and thanks him for his concern. Then, the Supreme Elder asks if he is still committed to learning martial arts by himself, and for this reason, is he sure that he will leave his home and focus on martial arts education? Suk Jinho responds affirmatively, saying that he will because he did not find anything appealing here. Hearing his words, the Supreme Elder tells him that this place is his home and questions why he wants to leave. Suk Jinho tells him that just because it's home doesn't mean he has to stay there for the rest of his life. Furthermore, to achieve something significant, one often needs to make sacrifices. After hearing such a response, the Supreme Elder tells him that he is not like other people. He is a little different. That's why Suk Jinho immediately replies that maybe now he is different to him because he has changed so much. He also says, if it were in the past, would you have ever let me sit in front of you so easily? To be honest, it seems you're only interested in me because you find me useful. After listening to him, the Supreme Elder responds and tells him that he completely agrees with his words, but his urge for him to stay is always genuine. Suk Jinho then tells him, I respect your feelings a lot, but you are completely wrong if you think of me as someone special. Then, the Supreme Elder replies, what you have demonstrated so far in front of everyone would lead anyone to believe that you are indeed a different person. Now tell me, how could anyone believe that you are not an exceptional person? After listening to him, he proudly admits with a smile and said that he thinks there are a few people in his life who believe he is not that special. Observing Suk Jinho's behavior, the Supreme Elder wondered why, after all these years of seclusion, he desired to leave the Suk family. Perhaps he was already planning to leave this family from the start. Then he asked Suk Jinho to tell him the truth honestly why he wants to leave this family. He also tells him, doesn't he think he doesn't like being a member of a powerful family? After hearing this, Suk Jinho tells him, since when did you consider an illegitimate child like me as a family member? The Supreme Elder then tells him that if the illegitimate child is so upset to hear this, then he can prove his worth to everyone if he becomes the head of the Suk family. So, Suk Jinho responds by saying, I have no desire to be the head of this family. Let the rest of the siblings fight over it. After that, the Supreme Elder tells him, you are a member of this family, just as your siblings are. In my opinion, you should not leave this family. So he says to him that whatever he says, he will never change his decision. Then, the Supreme Elder tells him that he understood that he would not listen to him at all. So he asks Suk Jinho to come and gossip with him from time to time until he leaves this city, at least granting him this simple favor. Then Suk Jinho calms him down by saying, okay, that's why the Supreme Elder allowed him to leave the palace for now. So Suk Jinho immediately left the palace, saying goodbye. After Suk Jinho leaves the palace, the Supreme Elder tells his servant that this boy is really stubborn. He asks his bodyguard what he thinks of him. The bodyguard replies to him, saying that he is not the same as before, and even if the strength inside his body is still very low, they have to be very careful about him. After some time, the Supreme Elder remarks, it's truly sad that this boy wants to leave the Suk family. If he were part of it, our family would be stronger. Suk Jinho then left the palace and went straight to his house, where his servants saw him and asked, how was your time at the palace, young master? They also mentioned that he looked like he had a long conversation with the Supreme Elder, which is why he got late. Suk Jinho interrupts Yoon and says, hey, it's nothing. I left the palace earlier but met Suk Miryong on the way. Whenever she came to ask me for help to become the head of the Suk family, Darky would capture her attention and they would start playing together. As a result, I got delayed. Suk Jinho then tells Yoon that he is very hungry, so he should tell the nanny to cook something for him. Besides, today there is a lot of trouble, and he wants some peace. Saying this, he went inside the room. But after some time, two people are standing outside Suk Jinho's house. One is the girl whom Suk Jinho saved from a demon in the forest this morning, and the other is his bodyguard. Here, they both come to know Suk Jinho's real identity. They reached Suk Jinho's mansion to look for him, where it was discovered that the boy who had saved the girl's life that morning was, in fact, Suk Jin-ho. Upon their arrival, the girl expressed her concern to her bodyguard, saying she is thinking it was not right to come here without informing anyone. The bodyguard comforted her, responding, "Don't worry, besides, they are here to meet Suk Jin-ho to express gratitude for saving her life that day." Following this, the girl's bodyguard introduced himself to a servant, stating, "His name is Beck Sang-gon from the Huk Pang family, and he is here to meet your young master, Suk Jin-ho. It would be better if you took the trouble to inform him of their arrival." Just then, Suk Jin-ryong arrived and immediately recognized the girl. He said, "Lady Pang, he met you today after such a long time." Furthermore, he inquired if they had come to their palace for any reason. Lady Pang then said that she is here to meet young master Suk Jin-ho. Upon hearing this, the man appeared as though he was bursting with anger. Thus, Lady Pang's bodyguard, Beck Sang-gon, further explained to him that they are here to meet Suk Jin-ho to thank him because he saved Lady Pang from a devil. The man stood there, laughing with them, but internally he was seething, hearing about Suk Jin-ho's reputation. He then told them that he understands both of them, so without wasting further time, he led them to Suk Jin-ho. Later, the scene transitioned to Suk Jin-ho standing outside the room with Darky by his side, murmuring, "Today, seems like something might happen." As they all came to Suk Jin-ho, and upon seeing him, Suk Jin-ryong thought, "His thoughts are quite obvious. He must be curious about my relationship with the young miss from the Pang family." But Suk Jin-ho was not thinking about any of these things. Then, Lady Pang Nayeon approached him and thanked him for saving her life. She also expressed her regret for not being able to thank him earlier, which was why she had come. Responding to their words, Suk Jin-ho said, "There is nothing to thank for, and since they have come so far to find him, he wants them to come into his house and talk." Lady Pang's bodyguard then told Suk Jin-ryong, "Thank you for bringing them here. You can go now." After hearing this, Suk Jin-ryong questioned if there would be any problem if he remained there. Promptly, Lady Pang's bodyguard explained that they will be having a long discussion with young master Suk Jin-ho. That was why he asked him to leave. Hearing this, Suk Jin-ryong said it's okay. He understands what they are trying to say, and when they're done, he'll ensure someone escorts them to their quarters later. As their esteemed guest, they want to extend proper hospitality to them. Then, Lady Pang and her bodyguard entered Suk Jin-ho's house. Meanwhile, Suk Jin-ryong stood outside and instructed his servant, "Try finding out what happened between Suk Jin-ho and the Huk Pang family." The servant then apologized, questioning how he could do this with Lady Pang's special bodyguard present. Suk Jin-ryong, upon hearing the servant's hesitant reply, became angry and expressed his frustration in a sharp tone, stating he did not want to hear excuses. Witnessing his angry state, the servant, filled with fear, assured him that he could undertake the task. Suk Jin-ryong, in a moment of solitary reflection, mused, "The Huk Pang family is renowned for transforming individuals from simple backgrounds into formidable martial artists. If we could harness the martial prowess of the Pang family, we could ascend to become the unrivaled best in the world." He also acknowledged his admiration for Lady Pang, considering her an ideal candidate for marriage. Inside Suk Jin-ho's room, Lady Pang conveyed to Suk Jin-ho her concern that her visit might have caused him undue trouble. Suk Jin-ho, however, reassured her that dwelling on such thoughts was pointless. Lady Pang's bodyguard observed Suk Jin-ho and noted to himself the young master's distinct demeanor from the rest of his family, particularly his composure in the presence of someone as striking as Lady Pang despite his youth. Subsequently, Lady Pang, feeling somewhat bashful, presented Suk Jin-ho with a gift, expressing her desire to reciprocate his life-saving act. The gift, a plaque similar to one she uses, she explained, could confer various advantages, including significant financial support. Suk Jin-ho initially declined the gift, emphasizing his current disinterest in accepting presents. However, Lady Pang's bodyguard interjected, suggesting that Suk Jin-ho's refusal might result in Lady Pang's insistence due to her determined nature. Consequently, Suk Jinho accepted the gift, albeit reluctantly, to Lady Ping's delight. Internally, Suk Jinho recognized the timely benefit of the gift, given his financial needs. After their conversation, as they prepared to part ways, Lady Peng, visibly elated, expressed her enjoyment of their interaction to Suk Jinho. Prompted by her excitement, Suk Jinho inquired if she had anything further to share. Lady Peng seized the opportunity to request a sparring session with him, to which Suk Jinho, though initially surprised, agreed for the sake of amusement. Pleased by his agreement, Lady Peng and Suk Jinho readied their weapons. Suk Jinho offered Lady Peng the first move, seeing it as a chance for her to learn. Utilizing the wind, Lady Peng initiated an attack from a distance, which Suk Jinho effortlessly countered, maintaining his balance. Surprised by her inability to land a hit, Lady Peng deduced that a close combat approach might be more effective. Swiftly closing the distance, she aimed to strike Suk Jinho with her weapon. However, Suk Jinho, displaying remarkable speed, drew his sword and launched an attack before she could react, leaving Lady Peng to defensively parry his straightforward sword strike with her weapon. Then Lady Peng reflected on the engagement, thinking to herself, he didn't exert much power in his attack, yet she found herself unable to withstand even his minor strike. Additionally, she realized that he seemed to anticipate each of her moves and techniques before she could execute them. It appears he's already acquainted with our family's martial arts, she thought. Midway through their duel, Lady Peng created distance between herself and Suk Jinho, raising her weapon above her head for a forceful downward strike. She declared that her attack was deadliest at this range and that this time, her assault would not be so easily countered. Just as she was about to unleash her strike, Suk Jinho, leaning on his sword, propelled himself off the ground and with a swift kick, disarmed Lady Peng, causing her weapon to fall from her grasp. In the moment her weapon touched the ground, Suk Jinho quickly retrieved it. With adept movements, he twirled the weapon behind his back, only to bring it to the forefront once again. Positioning Lady Peng's weapon under her throat, Suk Jinho concluded the bout, stating, "It seems there is no need to continue this fight." Suk Jinho tells Lady Peng that he can offer her some advice if she desires it, to which Lady Peng happily replies that, indeed, she was hoping to ask for his guidance. Suk Jinho then explained to her that although her technique was good, her fighting style was too predictable, allowing opponents to easily anticipate her next move. He suggested that mixing in some unexpected moves would greatly benefit her attack strategy. Following his advice, Suk Jinho handed the weapon back to Lady Peng. Immediately after hearing Suk Jinho's words, Lady Peng acknowledged that she understood his suggestion about incorporating some unexpected moves into her fighting style. She also remarked that just because Suk Jinho held the sword in his hand during his last attack didn't mean he would use it. Instead, he used his feet to knock her weapon out of her hand. Suk Jinho complimented her, noting she could catch up very quickly. Consequently, she asked Suk Jinho if they could spar again the next day. Upon hearing her request, he agreed, stating he had no problem with it. Lady Peng's bodyguard then commented that it appears Suk Jinho has mastered a great variety of martial arts techniques in a short period, and his potential seems even greater than that of the Six Dragons. In response, Lady Peng smiled and acknowledged that his fighting skills demonstrate his strength. Lady Peng's bodyguard remarked that everything seems fine, but it's often said that one shouldn't be too obvious about liking someone. She acted as though she didn't understand and quickly shifted the topic, expressing her curiosity about the young master's skills. After hearing this, the bodyguard became curious about how Suk Jinho achieved such skills in a short period of time. He expressed his intention to spar with him in the future if the opportunity arises. After their discussion, they departed, and the scene shifted to another part of the palace. Here, the Suk family manor, known as Manor Master Suk Myinjil, was introduced. His servant presented him with a report book detailing all the information of the Suk family members from the last few days. Suk Myinjil inquired of his servant whether it is indeed true that Suk Jinho is no longer the same. The servant responded, affirming that he personally verified everything himself. Then Suk Myinjil pointed out that a boy who used to go unnoticed has now turned down proposals from both Manhwa and Zhongnan elders. Additionally, he won a spar against the Huk Pang family's swordflower, Lady Pang Nayan. "How is this possible?" he asked. In response to Suk Myinjil's words, the servant added, "Geniuses do have a habit of appearing out of the blue." Suk Myinjil remarked, "It's impressive that Suk Jinho is capable, but it's disheartening that he shows no interest in the family." After his words, the servant expressed confusion about why Suk Jinho was acting this way, especially after rejecting young Miss Miryong's proposal to assist her. Furthermore, the young master did not even invite Suk Jinryong to his house today. Despite this, young Miss Miryong still hadn't given up on pursuing Suk Jinho. Suk Myinjil, with some disappointment, said, "It's nothing." He even rejected the proposal of his grandfather, the Supreme Elder. Will he care about the proposals of Miryong? The servant mentioned that, upon close inspection of the report, he found something interesting. Suk Myinjil observed from the report that Jinryong is considering making Lady Peng his wife, to which he said, "It's a decent plan, but it doesn't seem likely to succeed." He also mentioned, even if the Huk Pang family ranks among the lower tier of the top 5 families, they remain one of the leading powers globally. They are one of the prestigious households shaping the righteous martial world. Unless Lady Peng herself takes an interest in Jinryong, it appears impossible to bring the daughter of the Huk Pang family to this house with just money. Suk Myinjil then instructed his servant to tell Jinryong to stop meddling with Lady Peng and expressed concern that if their relationship with the Huk Pang family was compromised due to Jinryong's unnecessary actions, he would hold him accountable. The scene then shifts to Suk Jinho's house where a man is caressing Darky, and Darky is standing there very calmly. Then Suk Jinho, observing Darky's calm demeanor, it appears that he is not an unwelcome guest after all. When the man came in front of Suk Jinho, he immediately said, "It's been a while, Jinho." Recognizing him, Suk Jinho happily responded, "Uncle Diakwal, long time no see." After they went inside the house to have tea, Uncle Diakwal told Suk Jinho that he had heard rumors about Jinho changing, and it appeared to be true. Responding to Diakwal's words, Suk Jinho mentioned that he would change more in the future since he was getting older. After listening to Suk Jinho, Uncle Diakwal remarked that he was only 17 but already talking about getting old. In response, Suk Jinho stated, 17 is old enough. Doesn't he understand what coming of age means in the Suk family? Hearing this, Diakwal replied that no one else would understand these things better than him. Responding to Diakwal, Suk Jinho thanked his uncle for always supporting him. Later, a brief backstory about Suk Diakwal from Suk Jinho's memory is shown. He is the representative of the Suk Wind Escort Agency, affiliated with the Suk family manor. Born as an illegitimate son of the Suk family, he empathizes with Suk Jinho's situation more than anyone else. Due to this connection, he couldn't disregard Suk Jinho, who was left isolated. Whenever he returned from a mission, he would occasionally check in on Suk Jinho. After that, Suk Jinho asked his uncle if he seemed like he had come to him for a reason. His uncle expressed regret, feeling as though he had wasted his life and expressing surprise at being understood by someone much younger. Suk Jinho noticed that although his uncle appeared calm on the outside, something was bothering him underneath. After hearing this, Diakwal tells him that since he understands his situation, that's why he wants to talk to him directly instead of beating around the bush. Therefore, Diakwal shamelessly admits that he needs Jinho's assistance because their escort agency is in danger, requiring the help of Master Beck, who is Lady Peng's bodyguard. He also mentioned that the White Demon Escort Agency has always had its sights on the Suk Wind Escort Agency, and they've now sought help from the Black Crow Fortress to hatch a sinister plot. Although there's no concrete evidence, Diakwal is certain they're behind it. Hearing all of this, Suk Jinho replied that if Master Beck intervenes, the situation will improve significantly. He is one of the top masters in the Hubuk province and would easily outmatch the Black Crow Fortress, which is part of the 18 fortresses of the Green Forest. Diakwal immediately explains that he had asked Master Beck for a favor yesterday, but Beck had refused. Knowing of Jinho's special relationship with Lady Pang, he has come to ask Jinho as a last resort. Hearing this type of help, Jinho said their relationship isn't as significant as the rumors suggest. At least he can arrange a meeting, but it's likely that Master Beck will refuse again. Darky then holds Jinho's hand and says that, if he can arrange the meeting, he'll figure out the rest. That's why Jinho said, in that case, let's meet right away. There's no point in delaying. He also told him that they were supposed to come to his house today. So without further ado, let's head out the door. After some time, Master Beck and Lady Pang appeared in front of the gate, and Jinho saw them and asked them to come inside. Inside the room, Darky introduces himself to Master Beck and tells him that he met him yesterday. Master Beck recalled that he remembered Suk Darky, the representative of the Suk Wind Escort Agency, who came to him yesterday for help. Then Jinho tells them both to sit and talk peacefully. But Master Beck appeared a bit disturbed upon seeing Darky and said, "It appears that the reason we're gathered here today is related to yesterday's events." He then asked, "Did young Master Jinho also plan to request my assistance here today?" Hearing the word request, Jinho responded, "Master Beck, please don't misunderstand the situation." Jinho wanted to clarify that before discussing the matter further, he intended to return their gift to Lady Pang. He also stated, helping Lady Pang initially was purely about doing what was right, without expecting anything in return. Jinho wanted to ensure that Master Beck did not feel obligated or pressured by the assistance. There were no requests involved, only a proposal for consideration. Jinho then presented his proposal to Master Beck, saying, "If Master Beck accompanies me to the Black Crow Fortress, there will be two benefits. One benefit is resolving Master Beck's curiosity, and the other is gaining practical experience." Curious, Master Beck asked Jinho what he meant by resolving curiosity. Answering their questions, Jinho explained that he was well aware that both Lady Pang and Master Beck were very interested in discovering what kind of martial art he practices. So, Jinho suggested, "How about satisfying their curiosity by having me take on the notorious bandit leader of the Black Crow Fortress? There, I can show them the type of real martial art I use." Hearing him, Master Beck questioned, "Is Jinho confident that he can fight the leader of the Black Crow Fortress, who is also known as a formidable opponent in this province?" Jinho replied, "If they think I'm bluffing, then Master Beck can check my skills in the upcoming fight." So, without wasting any time, he suggested, "Let's fight to prove my skill." Then Jinho and Master Beck stood in front of each other to fight. Meanwhile, Darky asked Lady Pang, "Is Jinho even a match for Master Beck, whom people call the Punks in Iron Fist?" Responding to his words, Lady Pang said, "I am sure that defeating Jinho will not be so easy." Seeing Lady Pang's confidence in Jinho, Darky considered that even if it's true that Jinho has changed as rumored, the skill gap between Jinho and Master Beck is significant, a gap Jinho may never bridge in his lifetime. After that, Jinho told Master Beck, "If you're ready, then let's start the fight." Responding to his words, Master Beck agreed that Jinho would attack first. He then happily pulled out his sword and ran in front of Master Beck to initiate the fight. At the beginning of the fight, Jinho swiftly moved towards Master Beck to attack him, catching him off guard and making it difficult for Master Beck to defend against Jinho's attacks. Seeing Jinho's rapid attack, Master Beck remarked that his aura was truly remarkable. Master Beck also mentioned that Jinho's attack was so fast that he unknowingly activated his powerful method called the Heaven and Earth Dominating Divine Technique. As he unfolded this technique, a green energy flowed around him. Reluctantly, Master Beck decided that he needed to use this divine green energy to stop Jinho's fast attack. When Master Beck attacked Jinho with his divine green energy, Jinho very easily rejected this attack. Seeing this situation, Master Beck said, "He's breaking through his energy and rapidly getting closer to him." Seeing him getting closer, Master Beck continued to use his green energy power without stopping. On the other hand, Jinho closed the distance between them and attempted to diminish Master Beck's power using his own special yellow energy flow. Moreover, Jinho thought it was still too early to overpower Master Beck with pure strength alone. He needed to be cautious and couldn't afford to fight Master Beck inefficiently. After that, the blue energy that Master Beck had been using for a while ended at this moment. After realizing this, Jinho stopped the flow of his special yellow energy. Instead of relying on a weapon, he closed the distance with Master Beck to engage in hand-to-hand combat. At that moment, Jinho considered that it's not always necessary to win every fight in life. Even if he can't win a battle, at least he doesn't let his rival win so easily. Then, before Master Beck could understand anything, Jinho quickly used the full force of his body on the ground, came very close to him, and landed a punch on his stomach very easily. Master Beck felt a little pain after taking the punch, but more than that, he felt anger and said that Jinho got this punch because of his little carelessness. Saying this, unable to control his anger, Master Beck tried to punch him back, but Jinho dodged it and it hit the ground very hard. Master Beck also said that he somehow couldn't believe that he could predict all his moves. Then their fight started again, where both of them were attacking each other with their own hands. During the fight, Master Beck considered whether he should use his full strength to assess Jinho's true skills or not. He also considered trying his full strength against Jinho at least once during the fight. In the midst of their battle, Jinho, observing Master Beck's hesitation, advised him to employ his internal energy, recognizing it as his most formidable asset. He also suggested that by using this power, Master Beck might be able to satisfy his curiosity about Jinho's true abilities. Hearing this, Master Beck responded without delay, saying that judging by the skill Jinho had exhibited so far, he should be able to handle this easily. At that moment, Master Beck unleashed his full internal energy, proclaiming that they would now witness how long Jinho could withstand his power. He explained that this internal energy technique was not ordinary. It was the supreme skill of the Huk Pang family known as the Heaven and Earth Divine Palm, which transformed into the Heaven and Earth Divine Fist. Then, seeing Master Beck's internal energy flowing around so much, the rest of the servants became a little scared. Zhang Meryung expressed concern to Yoon, suggesting that they should stop the fight because he was afraid that something big might happen to the young master. Responding to his words, Yoon said to him, "Don't worry. Nothing will happen because the young master is very strong." Master Beck then shut off his internal energy flow, laughing as he assured them that he was only joking and meant no harm by his display of power. So Jinho immediately realized that Master Beck would never show his full strength here. So he said, "Okay, the fight is over for today." Meanwhile, Lady Pang watched the fierce fight with excitement, while Diakwal was shocked and expressed amazement at Jinho's strength. On the other hand, Zhang Meryung rushed over from the side, expressing relief and fear as he cried out to the young master, relieved that nothing had happened to him. Besides, Master Beck asked Jinho, will he be okay? Because if he were to fight against the strong Black Crow Fortress, the skills he's been hiding so far would be revealed to the world. In response, Jinho said that he never intended to hide his skills anyway. Besides, he couldn't abandon someone who had looked after him since childhood, regardless of the circumstances. Diakwal was very happy to hear these words from Jinho's mouth, and Master Beck said, "Okay then, they are also coming on this mission." But as he stood there, he thought that every time he saw Jinho, he was getting more impressed by him. That's why Master Beck realized that once the mission was over, he would need to inform the Huk Pang family about Suk Jinho, because he saw an opportunity to establish a connection with Jinho, a hidden talent of the Suk family, who seemed to possess potential even stronger than the Six Dragons. The next morning, they all arrived at Black Crow Mountain, where the head of the Suk Wind Escort Agency was also present. He stated that he was not entirely sure if this was the right course of action. To understand this, the scene immediately shifts to a flashback from the previous night where everyone was having a meeting inside the palace. Here, Jinho suggested that they should separate the forces. Hearing this conversation, the head of the Suk Wind Escort Agency immediately wondered if dividing their forces was the right course of action and speculated if Jinho was considering a pincer attack strategy. Responding to his questions, Jinho clarified that it wasn't a pincer attack, but rather a matter of proper calculation. He emphasized that they just needed enough men to ensure no one could escape from Black Mountain. The head of the agency refused Jinho's suggestion, stating firmly, no matter what happens, they need to retrieve the goods. That's why they can't afford to divide their forces. Jinho further explained the situation, saying, this banditry was not solely the action of the Black Crow Fortress. The White Demon Escort Agency is backing them up. They likely wouldn't have entrusted the Black Crow Fortress entirely with this evil plan. They probably planted someone to smuggle out the goods in case of an emergency. Their aim is likely to undermine the trust in the Sook Wind Escort Agency. Hearing this, the head of the agency said that Jinho was right, but he didn't think it was right to separate the force. That's why Master Beck assured him that he didn't need to worry about things going awry. As long as he was here, nothing of the sort would happen. Relying on Master Beck, the agency had agreed to go along with Jinho's plan. Returning from the flashback to the present timeline, they found themselves at the gate where the head of the Sook agency still didn't fully agree with Jinho's plan because he thought it was nothing but madness to enter these gates with so few men. Standing in front of the gate, the Sook Wind agency head was sweating with fear. Just at that moment, Jinho broke the gate with a punch and told the agency head not to be afraid. Diakwal also assured the agency head that Jinho was really strong and told him to see it himself. Entering the gate, they encountered a bald man with a sword in hand asking them who dared to enter here. Jinho then came in front of him in response to his words and said, now see for yourself who came here to break your legs. Saying this, Jinho grabbed him by the throat with one hand and lifted him off the ground. As Jinho grabbed the bandit by the throat with one hand and lifted him off the ground, the bandit yelled for help. Hearing his screams, the rest of the bandits also arrived at the scene. Seeing all the other bandits gathered together, Jinho felt a surge of excitement and swiftly threw the bald bandit to the ground. Seeing Jinho, the other bandits angrily asked him, how dare he attack the Green Forest? He's got some nerve. It was clear from all of them that they were ready to kill Jinho at any moment. After that, Jinho happily took out his sword and using his fastest speed, he defeated some of the bandits in one attack. The head of the Sook Wind Agency was surprised to see Jinho's attack unfold in such a way. He remarked that he had heard stories about Jinho growing stronger, but this display was beyond his expectations. Seeing Jinho's attack like this, the rest of the bandits were all scared, none of whom dared to confront him. So seeing them in this situation, Jinho said, how did such cowards find their way into the 18 fortresses of the Green Forest? Even they lack the most basic courage. If they're finished trembling, they should bring out their leader, the giant strength great axe guy. Just then, a middle-aged bandit who happens to be their leader appeared there with a thick sword in his hand, and his face contorted with anger. He approached one of his trembling bandits and barked, why are they so scared of a little boy? And they dare to call themselves bandits of the Black Crow Fortress? They're better off dead than alive. Then he grabbed one of the bandits and slammed him hard on the ground. Seeing his own people beaten to the ground like this, Lady Pang and Jinho thought that surely this bandit was one of the most merciless bastards. Then, with a sneer, he grinned, his teeth showing, and addressed Jinho mockingly. It's pathetic to see a brat cause such a scene here. Seeing Lady Pang next to Jinho, he remarked, having brought such a tantalizing beauty with him, he would ensure her end was as painless as possible. After listening to his nonsense, Jinho said, don't waste my time, so come quick and fight with me. Hearing this, he got very angry. He immediately grabbed his sword with both hands and attacked Jinho with full force, but Jinho ignored the attack and grabbed the sword with his two hands. Everyone was surprised to see Jinho effortlessly holding the sword, with the bandit leader questioning how this boy could wield such power with his bare hands, especially considering his own achievements ascending through the Black Crow Fortress to the 18 fortresses of the Green Forest unscathed. Jinho then used his sword in one hand and the other hand together to smash the bandit leader's thick sword and said, now get ready to lose to this little kid. And seeing his sword broken, the leader got very scared and said, how is this possible? Jinho then swiftly grabbed the bandit leader's face with his hand and slammed him to the ground, causing his nose to bleed. Looking down at him, Jinho remarked that he was even more pathetic than Jinho had originally thought. Seeing this situation, all the other bandits in the vicinity began to exclaim, "The giant strength great axe leader has been defeated." They also said that they needed to report to the upper ranks what had happened here today. Then all the bandits started moving frantically, and one of them thought, "Before we run, we need to secure the goods and make our escape." But then Lady Pang came in front of him. Seeing her, he demanded that she move away. He cursed under his breath, realizing he had encountered a woman from the Huk Pang family at such a critical moment. "The goods are as good as lost, but at the very least, I need to escape. Although, it won't hurt to take down one girl." As soon as he said this, Lady Pang punched him in the stomach and threw him to the ground. He had thought he could effortlessly subdue a delicate woman like Lady Pang, but he was proven wrong. Jinho expressed sincere gratitude to Lady Pang for preventing the bandits from escaping and was also checking to see if they had committed suicide by taking some medicine, because once they committed suicide, no more information could be extracted from them. Then the scene shifted to the Huk Pang family mansion, where the head of the Huk Pang family instructed his assistant to provide information about the first young master of the Suk family. The assistant explained, "His name is Suk Jinryong. He's 25 years old and vying for family succession against his younger siblings. While his abilities are decent, he's reputed to be somewhat narrow-minded, and more importantly, he is not known to have any martial arts skills." Hearing this, the head of the Huk Pang family became even more angry, criticizing a man who hadn't mastered martial arts and wasn't even the official heir yet, for seeking an engagement with their Lady Pang. In the meantime, he calmed his anger and then instructed his assistant to speak up. "So, what about Suk Jinho, who was mentioned in the bodyguard Sang Beck's letter? What is he like?" Moreover, he also heard that Jinho managed to subdue the giant strength great axe. After hearing from the head of the Huk Pang family, the assistant remarked, "That's right, he suddenly rose to prominence last year. Before that, he was so despondent that he even attempted suicide." After hearing such significant words from the assistant, the head of the Huk Pang family realized that Jinho had become a warrior comparable to the Six Dragons. Jinho had demonstrated sharpness in locating a fleeing thug. He also said, "The contract offer from the Suk Wind Escort Agency is also quite favorable," he remarked. "I also find it reassuring that he isn't just a fox calculating gains and losses. Most importantly, he has succeeded in charming Lady Pang." Afterward, the assistant suggested summoning her back before rumors started spreading. In response to the assistant's words, he instructed, "Yes, send someone to bring her back. If Jinho's the reason she refuses to return to the palace, then tell him to accompany her. That way, I can see how powerful Jinho is." Afterward, the scene shifts to Jinho's palace, where it becomes evident that he has defeated the bandits in the mountains and seized all the goods, bringing them back to his palace. And Jinho is given a bounty for defeating the giant strength great axe. Meanwhile, in Jinho's palace, Nanny appeared very happy. Observing her expression, Jinho remarked, "Nanny, are you that happy? Well, we have been living in poverty for so long. With the bounty on the giant strength great axe and the sudden support from the family, our living conditions will improve." After listening to Jinho, Nanny remarked that it wasn't the bounty itself that made her happy. Instead, she was pleased because it was sent by the manor master himself. But Jinho tells her that he also didn't expect him to send so much after he declined the request to stay with the Suk family. He also tells the nanny not to try to stop him as he has already made up his mind. In response, the nanny says that she won't try to stop him at all because she's just happy that Jinho finally received recognition from his family. She also asked if the Suk Wind Escort Agency head had told Jinho that he could come anytime to their place. Jinho replied that he wouldn't want to go there. Instead, he proposed to the nanny that they should settle somewhere with clean air and peace. He asked his nanny if she would like such places. But, to the nanny, any place is fine by her, as long as Jinho is there. Then suddenly, Zhang Meryong rushed over to him, shouting, "Young master!" Jinho was surprised to see Zhang Meryong looking as though he had been beaten. Concerned, Jinho asked him, "Who did this to you?"